All right, and it indeed is time for the Fluffle to assemble. Welcome, one and all, whether you are a paid-for citizen or whether you are just a tourist who has just subscribed, or whether you're just looking across the border, wondering whether or not to emigrate to such a wonderful nation as the Rabid Atheist. Welcome, one and all. I am your host, Ed Raby, a former pastor turned atheist, now compassionate anti-atheist. Welcome to the Rabid Atheist Show, here Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, although some of you are way up early in the morning, like Paul. But welcome, one and all. Welcome to Rabid Atheist. Today, a different kind of stream, I guess. This is a little bit more personal to me because I'm celebrating my 1 decade as an atheist. I'm going to tell that story and kind of go over different parts of it because there's always a lot of theists come here and they always have the wrong idea of why people become atheists or why people leave the faith. And so it's kind of a celebration for me. So I'm kind of relaxing and enjoying the day. I decided to take the day off as well. So I'm going to be able to stream a little bit longer and stick around for a little bit longer today. So, but yeah, we're going to talk about that. But in the meantime, just to let you know, there's a goal in chat that helps keep my streams ad-free while they're live. So it really helps a lot. It helps me continue my work to normalize atheism and deconversion, which is kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today, of how I got into that. And then there's a link to the Discord, the Fluffle of Fangs, if you're looking for a community. You can try the Fluffle of Fangs out. It's a pretty decent community. I'm a part of it. Several others are a part of it. Glad to have all of you. Let's see, is there any other announcements? I'm going to make sure I get all the announcements out of the way before I go into roll call. All right. Jackie was here early. I'm not ready to move on. I've created an entire channel because of my inability to move on. And I'm sorry. I thought it was incredibly funny, and it's so true. Someday again, good to see you, Sam. Let's see who else is here. Dragon Rider is here. Rimmer is here. Good to see you, Rimmer. Paul is here. See you, Paul. It's 2 a.m. Paul, what are you doing? Michael is here. So there you go. But yes, I think that's everybody. I think I got everybody. All right. So today I am celebrating. Oh, I got to get Fred in. Good to see you, Fred. Glad you're here. I'm celebrating 10 years as an atheist. I know for some of you lifelong atheists, that doesn't seem like a big deal to you, but after considering the fact that Ed is a former minister of 20 years, a former Christian of 40 years, all the things that go along with that, the whole stuff that I'm going to talk about today, 10 years is kind of significant to me. There were a lot of people, like my thumbnails said, that told me it was just a phase and that I would end up out of it. And so far, I'm not even close of being out of this. And so I want to kind of, some of you have heard this story before, but I want to retell it for those that may watch it later. I'm going to try to be as brief as I possible. So it's like, so I a teen atheist. There you go, teen atheist. Well spoken. You have to go back a ways. I grew up in the church from the time I was 4 years old. I was part of the Assemblies of God. Everything's a phase if you die at the end. Hey, Sam. So I grew up in the church. I was educated, in public schools, but I also went to the church every time the doors were open. My parents were very devout believers, which was weird because as I grew up, I realized there was a lot of evidence that my parents had been like early 1960s progressive hippie types, um, including a lot of very interesting behaviors with their friends and friends and neighbors and things like that. So, what have you? I don't know if you learned anything, Fred. Yeah, I know. In 8 more years, I'll be able to vote in all the atheist conclaves. You got to be old enough to do that. Um, so, yeah, now I'm part of the Disassemblies of God. Yes. And I grew up in that environment, very Pentecostal, very fundamentalist, very conservative. Um, got saved according to their traditions, said the sinner's prayer, felt God warm fuzzy his way into that God-shaped hole in my heart. Grew up as a teenager, got filled with the Spirit, spoke in tongues, all that jazz. Um, about 17, felt called into the ministry. Eventually started fulfilling that call by heading out to North Dakota and doing Trinity Bible College. Graduated in 1993. It was about there that my first cracks in my belief in God probably started, because when you start to actually study the Bible and you start to actually study Christianity, it starts to not have all the solidity that it had when you were a child. Um, and then I went off to seminary to Asbury, graduated in 1996. My dad died during that time. Um, so there was that aspect of it. So, and I stayed with the faith in large part because of my dad's death, because I wanted to see him again, that afterlife belief. But getting to I went through the ministry, 2 churches in the Assemblies of God, ups and downs, trials, tribulations. And I got to my last church, the Congregational church I pastored for half my ministry, and I was able to think about all those questions I had gained in seminary and why the Bible didn't line up and all that jazz. And I began to go through them. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Mock execution. No, I'm not going to do that. It felt like you were struck right into the Jesus Camp documentary. Yeah, yeah. I went to Jesus Camp a couple of times. So, like Pentecostal Jesus Camp, but it's same. Um, but finally, I got to the end of that time. I had been a pastor there for like 8 years. I was getting very frustrated with my faith. I'd been a deist for about a year. I kind of realized that Christianity was false a year before that. And in June of 2016, 10 years ago, I started a sabbatical to assess a few things. Took a whole month off. Had a lot of hard times in the early part of that month because I had to bury my dog of 16 years and had to put him down. So that was part of the reason I took the month off, because I knew I was going to be a bastard gaze for the rest of the month, because I love that dog very, very much. I still have his collar um, with all of his tags and stuff on that collar. So, but I was constantly thinking about this problem of whether God existed at all. And I'm a pastor. Been a pastor of a church for 8 years. At that point, I built a reputation, a ministry, all of that stuff. It was not going great. That was part of the reason I was on the sabbatical. And when I went into June of 2016, I thought there was a possibility maybe that I maybe still believed in some sort of God somewhere. And by the time I got to June 30th, I was fairly certain that there was no good evidence for a God at all, and became an atheist and spent the next 2 years in the pulpit as an atheist. So a lot of people will say, oh, who hurt you that you left That's a common apologist trope about why people become atheists, and it's like, no, it had nothing to do with that. There was a lot of theology I couldn't reconcile. There was a lot of the Bible I couldn't reconcile. There was a lot of Christian doctrine I couldn't reconcile anymore. It just doesn't make sense. I didn't leave the faith. I don't know if I have any readily available pictures of my dog. I think I archived those a long time ago. It's been 10 years. I can show you the collar, though. Hold on. Yeah. I still have it. This was around my beagle's neck for a long time. Still has all his tags, all his Michigan vet stuff, and all that jazz. So, yeah, I couldn't wait to see it. And you feel old? Okay, yeah. But yeah, it's deconversion is always different for everybody. But yeah, it was a very emotionally charged time, and the next 2 years were emotionally challenging because I was trying to preach from a Bible I no longer believed in. I was trying to minister to people, trying to be as humanist, I guess, as possible, just being a decent human being, trying to make the Bible fit that, which oddly enough, you can be a humanist and preach from the Bible and make it twist into that form. So there is that aspect of it. So there you go. Hey, Cranky, good to see the elder gods make their appearance. Yeah, I don't know. That was part of the problem. Like, one of my biggest issues was I would hear the criticism about slavery and genocide, and I'd read the Bible and say, "Yep, Yahweh's that way." Like, I didn't try to find ways to plausibly deny it, as a Christian. But I'm like, yeah, the morality of the Old Testament just isn't good. And there was just a whole bunch of factors. Like, people tell you, "Oh, you got hurt by someone." I didn't get hurt by anybody in the church. At least not over my loss of, that caused my loss of faith. That had nothing to do with it. So when apologists or theist types come here, and we had one yesterday, like, I don't know why you hate God so much. I'm like, I don't hate God. Okay. I just don't think he exists. I don't think Yahweh exists. I think maybe he might be a made up deity by an ancient tribalistic people that still is so popular for some reason. Um, so you, okay, good to see you, asshole. But yeah, so my story, the biggest thing I want to celebrate is my story is so anti what the apologists say. Like, you hate God. I'm like, I don't hate God any more than anybody hates a bad villain in literature. So, oh my goodness, you guys. So, seems fair. When Morin pushed today, did he put his cat down Thursday because he has lymphoma? Never owned a pet, but I know how hard animal lovers. Any tips for him? I don't know. Losing my dog, I still think of my dog, and I don't think that's a bad thing. The emotions of it are going to be rough. Just, make sure they're encouraged. It sucks. I wish I had advice. It's kind of like when people die too, Dragon Rider. Like, they ask me, "Do you have any?" They used to ask me when I was a pastor, "Do I have anything to say that comforts people?" I'm like, I would turn to that person who would ask me that question. I would say, if you ever find a phrase or something that can be said to comfort people that are grieving and makes it all better, you let me know, because I don't have it yet. So I wish I had something, because I know how much that hurts. And so I know it's pets. I get it. People have this view, but you get close to them, they become members of your family, and then they're gone, and it's like, sucks. It just sucks. And the only thing you can really do is be there and be a comfort for them. So, yeah, like, I haven't had another dog since Gabe died. Haven't had one. My family has, but I haven't. I just haven't gotten over them yet. So thanks, Evan. Appreciate it. So when, to get back to my story, when theists come to me and say I left because somebody hurt me, that's not true. Um, that I'm angry at God for some reason, also not true. Um, I very much tried to keep my imaginary character, particularly Jesus, alive, but Jesus became the most problematic character because I taught life of Christ so many times in my churches. And part of that was trying to reconcile all the discrepancies, all the stuff, all the differences of opinion. Um, so, the different timelines, the different resurrections. The most difficult places to reconcile are the beginning of Jesus's life and the supposed resurrection and aftermath. Like they don't always line up. And that became a real problem. And it's like, it was one of the major contributors to me leaving the faith. So when people sit there and want to tell me that it's about emotional damage or it's about hating God, they absolutely tell me immediately they have never talked to somebody who's deconverted from a faith to atheist. Because if that's your reasons, those are pretty shitty reasons. But once you get past all that and you get to the fact that, none of this really makes sense and all the claims of the apologists turn out to be bullshit. And, well, we got good historical records of Jesus. And I'm like, nope. No, you don't. You really don't. And that's why I became an atheist in large part, because there just isn't any good, there isn't any good reason to believe. And that's what it really came down to. And now my family doesn't address this topic. They just ignore it. So like, I think all of them know that I don't believe in God anymore, including my mother, which makes dealing with her difficult because she's in the hospital right now and she wants to talk about church because she misses it. She wants to talk about Jesus. And of course, when you're in the hospital at 85, you have to turn the subject to death. So, yes. So there you go. Hey, Modern Atheism, good to see you. But yeah, like there's just a lot of awkwardness. And so the question of what have I learned in 10 years as an atheist? And this is where I'm kind of spitballing. I've been thinking about this all week since the beginning of the week. Number one, I have learned that the propaganda about atheism and the indoctrination people go through to avoid atheism is much, much more difficult to get over than I thought because of the emotional attachment. No matter how much I do this channel, no matter, because part of the reaction to that is this channel. Like I want to let people know all that stuff, but it's like, all right, good. You have a hard time watching Carrier? Some of us do, yes. Not necessarily me. I don't have a hard time watching anybody. It's more of a hard time what they say sometimes because they're sometimes wrong. But I've learned that this is more of an uphill climb in presenting what atheism really is to people that do not want to understand it. Trying to get past people's biases and bigotry and prejudice about atheism is because the propaganda work has been extensive and generations long. And when you try to tell people, no, that doesn't work for me. Like I didn't get hurt by people. I'm angry at God. I just assess the evidence and say, you know what, this just doesn't work. And so, yeah, like this is the battle. People ask me why I'm trying to normalize atheism because that's the battle. It's getting past these decades of propaganda. And then I have people on my own side that don't help because they say, well, I'm not really an atheist. I'm an agnostic. And I'm like, do you have an active belief in God right now? Well, no, then you're a fucking atheist. Quit running from the term. I know it's been propagandized, but please run from it. Running from it is not going to help. To normalize it, we need people using the term and explaining what it really means. So, well, there you go. See, our pets are important. I just don't know that I ever will get another dog at this point. I'm still grieving for Gabe, and it's been 10 freaking years. So, about the same time. Yeah, I can see that's the other thing with atheism that I have to talk about. It's pretty lonely being an atheist. Anybody else notice this besides me? Like, we have communities, we have people to bond together, but when you get away from YouTube and you get away from the internet, and see, this is where religion has all these advantages, because you go to a special building to compare clothing once a week. And so you get that automatic social stuff that religion provides, whether you really enjoy it or not. And so it's something that there's a lot of loneliness to being an atheist, because when people ask you what you believe, for instance, you're usually the odd person out in the room. Like, yes, atheism in the United States has grown. So, like, it's 1 out of 20 people. If you count so-called agnostics who are also atheists, it's probably 1 in 10. But if you're sitting at a table at work with 5 people, there's a pretty good chance you're the only atheist sitting there. So it can get pretty lonely. I think that's probably one of the things that I have to say I've had to learn to deal with, because there's a social loneliness that comes with being an atheist, because we still are a very minority position when you really think about it. It still is very lonely here. Like, the Christians are weird, because you can be a Baptist, a Lutheran, a Catholic, but they'll still, like, if it's, well, who of you are Christians? You still got half the country raising their hand. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. Yes. Yeah. Yes, they definitely can. Okay. Say hello to Oscar and the kitties. You got Ed and the Fluffle? Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do this in a large part to overcome that loneliness. Before I did this channel and started being more, like, if you go back to when I first live streamed on the reg, and I was just doing videos, this was still, I had a community, but it was still kind of a lonely place. It's the streaming that's made up a lot of the difference. So, and it's helped. So, but I'm more one of those that runs from the term. I just don't like it, so I don't use it. And that's fair. It's just, to me, it's just a descriptor. And I think that's what I try to get people to understand. It's just a descriptor. If you don't believe in anything, any God, you're just an atheist. The problem is that people have propagandized it. They have made it like, oh, if you're an atheist, you have no morality. You don't want to have no morality, do you? And it's like, no, that's not true. So it can be easy to feel like an outsider, or like you don't fully fit in, at least for him. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. The autism doesn't help. The being an only child doesn't help either. That's one of those. Growing up Gen X as an only child doesn't help either. So people ask me about that. I'm like, well, yeah, I was one of those latchkey kids back in the 70s and the 80s, and unlike some of my friends, I would come home to an empty house because I don't have brothers and sisters either. And so you want to talk about somebody who had to truly, truly be independent. Holy shit. So, somebody who's always been an atheist has nothing to miss, and plenty of secular options as well. But then Germans do love clubs and all. Yeah, you guys do. Like, and I noticed that of Europeans in general. Like, you guys like to do clubs and shit. Like, it was one of the interesting things I had when I did visit Europe. I touched down in the Netherlands briefly. I was in Amsterdam for 2 hours on a layover. And then I was in Budapest, Hungary for a while, and then I was in Romania and Oradea, and then through Transylvania. My daughter wanted to go on a mission trip, and I went along. That's back when I still believed, a long time ago, even before leaving the faith. So when she graduated, So it was a lot of fun. So do I scream during sex? What's that, asshole? I don't know what you're talking about. I've become so misanthropic. I don't even date anymore, asshole. Like I just don't know. I do think Robert, you're right. By the way, welcome, Robert. I think you might be correct. I think that's my cue that it has been normalized when people understand that it's just an identifier. I think it would disappear. And honestly, I don't know that Christians realize this. If they stopped doing what they're doing, it might disappear and then they wouldn't have any worldview to fight against. But then again, Christianity worldview, I say that's how they perceive it. Um, but yeah, I don't know that they would have anything to fight against anymore, would they? Like, I almost think that this whole atheism as a worldview is more of a straw man enemy so that they apologists have something to do. Like they need an enemy, they need somebody to fight. Um, so like, yeah, I think you have a point. Like if we ever normalize the term, the test it will be like, it'll be like, what do you mean by atheist? Like they won't have a preconceived emotional notion about what that term means. So finest screams. So uh, there are things that make me feel abandoned and lonely. Some ableism is a big one, but atheism is far from one of them. Okay. Germans club baby seals for fun. It's called Club Club. What? Kid, of course. Robert has a very unique sense of humor, which I appreciate. God screams your name during sex. Okay, fair enough. Oh, I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it. I saw it. I was trying not to acknowledge it as trying not to acknowledge its existence. Oh no, but yeah, you have to have something in order to scream something. So it's been a while. A lot of calls, socializing, cafes, pubs, going out to eat, as well as dinner parties. All the things you mentioned from my autistic, introverted self scream, run away. Football, yeah. Driven Freethinkers was a reference. Okay. As many atheist YouTubers said, you don't see atheist as such because who the heck believes in that as an adult? It's less normalization and more. There are still tons of believers who never grew out of the belief. Yeah, like it's. I do acknowledge you. I acknowledge Azo. Azo, you have been acknowledged. But yeah, I think Robert brings up a good point though, because I think the people that keep the term atheist alive aren't atheists as such. It's more theists who want to demonize something and they need something to demonize. Um, the apologists love to go after atheists. They love to go after the atheists far more than they like to go after people of other faiths. They still do that. I was listening to there was a guy doing a series on reviewing God is Not Dead, the movie series, and he was going through all of them, and he says, most of the time, all of these are like going after atheists, but they put in this side dodge that's really brief to like Islam and a few others. So, but he says it's always the atheists that seem to be the target, and I have to agree because how dare you? How dare you? Down third in the league at best, but the majority is about meeting on the weekend, play a game, have a worst and a beer, go home. Not my thing either, though. Okay. But yeah, like I don't know. There is a lot of loneliness sometimes when you just don't have any way to relate. Like my biggest problem on a personal level is there are certain things I just cannot talk about with my family. Like it just, there's going to be an immediate wall there of they aren't going to understand where I'm coming from, and I don't understand some of the things they believe anymore and why they still believe them. So it's like, yeah, Most apologists won't use skeptic or use AC thing as a buzzword or a bad thing. Yeah, they will. They will. Yeah, yeah. There's still a bunch of there's a that series is really weird. Um, because the first two is really over the top, not just against atheism, but leftist politics. The third one isn't so much that. Like it's just really weird. So, no, we're going to be Oprah here. You get an acknowledgement. You get an acknowledgement. Everybody gets an acknowledgement. We're going to have acknowledgments for everybody. I think that's why they go after atheists. I think they're the easiest ones to straw man. Because if you go after like another religion, you may accidentally run into a denomination or a sect of that religion that actually believes what you say. And so you can't straw man a religion as easy because they have variants. Whereas atheism, a non-belief in God, you could pummel that to death. So you kids behave. You kids behave. What are you two moderators going to do? Are you going to go after each other? Do I have to do something about that? Oh yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, like I don't know. It's a weird world that I live in. Weird world. So yeah, I think because that's another good point, Cranky, that they do like atheists don't just most of us don't get rid of like if you're a naturalistic atheist, you get rid of superstitious nonsense or magic or stuff, whereas other atheists can still believe in it. And so you can go after the atheists like that with more than just a non-belief in God, a personal God. So yeah, but yeah, like it's one of those. I don't know. It's just because we don't believe in superstition or magic, and other religions kind of do. Well, when they go after other religions, it becomes like you have the wrong God and you have the wrong magic and the wrong superstitions. Whereas if they go after atheists, they can go after all of that. So, uh, so there you go. Yeah, the true dictator of the supernatural. That's a very valid point. I mean, I'm sure the elder gods are taking a very like, yeah, go away, bitch, approach to this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that Robert back get on his panel. Patrol him. Yeah, there you go. See, that's all you have to do. Is you just have to go to Robert's place on Sundays and get on his panel. Uh, yeah, city hockey team. All right. Okay. Uh, Summer, directed by Tommy Wessel, starring Kevin Sorbo. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I was just looking at the God and Not the Dead series because I was interested in some commentary on it because I've seen it. It was a long time ago. Um, I always loved the first one because Duck Dynasty is in it and it's hilarious. So, biological perception of reality. Yeah, probably not. That's fairly fair. Uh, it's because it's like white magic, cult programming. Yeah, like it's. See, that's the thing. Like, if you watch apologist channels, they will take on Islam. They will take on various other religions from time to time, but not near as much as they do atheists. Um, and because it's like when they take on other religion, it very much is an argument of are you serving the real God? Do you have the real superstitions? Which magic do you think? You're like for years, pagans were you. it wasn't that they worship their own pantheon of gods. No, all those gods are demons, and we need to, like they, each of these religions recast the other as actually being inspired by the demonic. Like I know Islam views Christianity as a perversion of the truth, and so therefore authored by demons. And guess what? What Christians do with Islam. so, so, and Sorbo did good in Meet the Spartans. Will it come with free bleach in the eyes and the ears? That probably. Well, yeah. In the first movie, it was like, dude, you're just promoting your brand, aren't you? And the elder of that family, boy, did he go off the rails before he finally died. I was like, oh my god, dude. Because they had an argument with the show's producers because they wanted to put more Christianity in the show, and the producers like, no, let's just keep it funny, because the moment you start getting serious like that, people are going to bail. And so yeah, because this is what it becomes. Yes, yeah, Abrahamic religion is correct. Yes. Well, yeah, 300 has a basic plot, but that's not the point. 300 is from a cinematography point of view, using all basically virtual sets and shit. Got to give it its props for doing that and sticking with it, I guess. They're going to Christian Bale. Yes. Fangs starring in Meet the Carrots. Oh, I should tell that to Earl. You should tell that to Earl, so that Fangs should start a series called Meet the Carrots. That would be hilarious. But yeah, it'd be hilarious. Oh my goodness. But yeah, like the atheist is an easier target for the apologist, because they basically at that point it's just doing superstitions. So it's like, so when they go after which version is it? I know I did. Oh, absolutely. Like the 300 was an interesting movie because the plot was pretty basic, and if you knew anything about history, you knew the basics of what was going to happen. But once again, Hollywood goes over the top to get an emotion, and that emotion is, that moment of triumph. That's what it's all about, and that's what that whole movie was about, and I think that's why it was so successful. But like the representation, all of that stuff was just a load of shit, as if Spartans didn't wear armor. They wore fucking armor too. They had a cuirass, they had stuff. They had really good boots, and gloves and all that shit. It was just like, really? They just showing up in a loincloth and a shield? Come on. I think that was part of the selling point, Josh. And thank you, Josh. I appreciate the donation. I do. So, you liked her in Spartacus? Okay. It's what's her ass. I don't know. But no, it's a cuirass. Like it's the breastplate, if you will. But they had armor. Like that was what was so disappointing about 300 is it's like it's all about the muscles. It's all about getting people to watch because of the muscles. You had to know that there were a lot of people just with their tongues out watching all those guys run around. So yeah, there you go. Fangs starting in 300 carats. So you guys are giving me great ideas for stories. You really are. No, but yeah, like, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's. I should know better to say stuff that resembles any other word. So any other word. I should know better than to do that, but I do it all the time. So yeah, the cloaks are impenetrable. Thanks again, Josh. But yeah, like it was such a it was such a weird movie. I mean, I get the emotional effect that it got, and it earned some of its props, but the plot was there was nothing surprising about it. Like there was no twist. There was no. It's just a military movie where you got, it appeals to our underdogs, the well-trained military force that's very small and under siege. How good are you really? Kind of thing when you don't have a numerical advantage, kind of movie. So, so yeah, like the Persians were in black armor, more coverage. Yeah. Oh yeah, well, it's historically accurate. That's why it's honestly, River, that's not as funny. So, but yes, yes, but yeah, like it, it, it is the end of Pride Month. Unfortunately, I didn't. The one hat I wanted to get here on time is still not here, and it was going to be a new hat, and I'm still waiting for it. So it's also patriotic, so I can probably use it for the rest of the week if it gets here in the next couple of days. But I do have a new hat coming. Um, that was supposed to join both, but didn't have it. 300 circumcised carrots, yes. So, yeah. Yeah, the Spartan, that part is left out. Like, if you study the Spartans and the way they did their shit, you want to talk about a group of people dedicated to a philosophy. You're persecuted. How? How are you persecuted? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, like you had to know when you're watching 300, there was more than women with their tongues out. Come on, like there's a whole bunch of people. That's what they watched the movie for, and still do. Conquest is conquest. Yeah, there you go. 250. All right, there you go. Fangs War is a long time ago, and a carrot patch far, far away. I haven't brought this image out in a while, but that gives me a good reason. So it gives me a good reason. Oh my goodness. Hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. I knew somebody would say something that would cause me to bring out some Earl art. So there you go. Fangs Wars. We already have some of the artwork. Oh, the Greeks invented sex, but the Romans figured out you could do it with women. Oh my goodness. At least they had ethos. Oh, we do have a little time traveling with Fangs, but only so that he can be both in the modern day and at the time of Yahweh back in the Old Testament at the same time. That's how he pulls that off. So it is lazy, though. It's lazy writing. Well, except when the original OGs did time travel, I don't think it was lazy. They were exploring a concept, and they did a lot better. So even autocorrected my ridiculousness. Yeah, I didn't do the autocorrect, man. I didn't do it. Here, let me find that. Yeah, like this is the way it was. This is the way it came through. So, there you go. But yeah, let's do the time fluffle again. But yes, but, but yeah, we do. Well, he wouldn't. I mean, that's a heretical view. Yeah, so it is a heretical view based on current dogma because Fangs is Jesus's father. So You got to remember that Fangs is Jesus' father, and Meryl Monroe is his actual mother. So you said prosecuted, not persecuted. uh, ah, but yes. Oh, absolutely. Like the I don't think that me and Earl have ever published like the first chapter that we wrote of the book. Like we've referenced it several times, but I've never put it out where everybody could read it. And Yahweh's character is just simply male ego pushed to the maximum. Like he's not a nice person, mostly because he can't get over the fact that he's a dude. So, but yeah, like we yeah, Yahweh doesn't Fangs doesn't kill his children. Like the whole point of Fangs is this: Fangs is a thief. He's a liar. He'll steal your stash. He will trick you out of something. He's always looking for an angle. If you say something, be very specific on how do you say it, because he will twist it to get what he wants. And he's still a better God than Yahweh. That is the point. So there you go. There you go. So, my religion and Animal Farm, not a vegetable, but I'm still confused by the veggies. Oh my goodness. Well, the whole point of the veggies, okay, is that Fangs purifies vegetables with his fang pointy teeth from religious corruption. There is religious corruption that goes out and infects certain vegetables in certain ways. So, Mormonism, like I think I've shown this image before, um, but Mormonism, I don't, here we go, is basically the idea behind Mormonism with Fangs is that, in particular, Mormonism infects onions. So he's trying to remove the religious Mormon corruption from onions, but quickly discovers that there's a problem. So, but yeah, we ended up doing that. So it ends up being fun. That's why all the different religions end up being different types of vegetables. So I don't know how to tell them that. Okay, there we go. Tentacles, tentacles, yes. Yeah, Robert Bruce sits in the corner and masturbates profusely. Yes. Well, yeah. The biggest thing with Yahweh, as we depict him, as I depicted him in the story, was he was just very insecure, very jealous of stuff, constantly has to flex what he does in order to make sure he feels good about himself. Like he just can't rest in the fact that he's God. He's got to show and demonstrate that he's God all the time by doing all kinds of ridiculous shit. So yeah, it's fun. Feels are different than the movie version. Yes, yes, beating around the burning bush or talking donkey punch. Yes, like there's a whole bunch of things that we have used. Um, yeah, Cain is the farmer person. Yes, we have that too. But yeah, just it's the parody really took off. I think when we started adding the vegetables, though. But like I've used Fangs for parodying of religion for quite some time, and it's interesting that if I was as an atheist, I find this stuff easier to do. Like if I've learned anything, I've learned to lighten up and make fun of religion a lot more because it deserves the mockery. It deserves the stuff. So it's much more of a to me it's much more of a easy thing to do than it used to be. So yes, Cantina band. There we go. Yeah, yeah. We don't really have a Cantina band yet. So Yeah, but Yahweh's non-secretor, which is why he needs the Holy Spirit or Gable to do his do work. Yes. They have a cream for the budding bush. Just saying. Okay. Yeah. But no, I've done this thing with Fangs now for quite a while, and he's still going to be my mascot no matter what. He's become part of the channel. I can't get rid of him. He refuses to leave. It's like Earl talks about the fact that he's always on her lap. Like what the hell? So, but yeah, like we've had so much fun with this. It's been hilarious. But yeah, so there you go. There's the prophetic utterance of Fangs Wars, that someday there will be a movie series called Fangs Wars. So that's the prophecy. I learned that as hard as I look, I can't find any data that even comes close to making me think the Abrahamic God might reflect reality. Yeah, that's kind of our point. Like I've got a video in the works called The Serious Side of Fangs, and I'm having trouble writing part of it because expressing what I'm trying to do with Fangs in a serious mode is very difficult because it's so wrapped up in the parody, and trying to explain how I'm demonstrating how easy it is to do theology, how easy it is to do other things. Like it's it's a demonstration of all the ridiculousnesses of religion. Yes, I'm using the plural of ridiculousness, because if they can have evidences, I can have ridiculousnesses. Well, there is as any comic will tell you, Evan, there's a serious side to comedy. Like when the fool speaks, okay, like a good court jester back in the day could make the king think of other things through humor and get points across through humor. That's kind of why they existed. So yeah, there's like a parody absurdism to Fangs that is a serious feature. But yeah, it's like, who's the better god, Fangs or Yahweh? Um, which which one would you rather hang out with? Like, and that's going after the nature of Yahweh. It's going after the nature of the God that most people believe in, and it's fun. I have a lot of fun with it. So, of course, it's healing to laugh at your enemies who are trying to traumatize you. Still, yeah, that's part of the problem too. I was over at Ember's place earlier, and they're dealing with a couple of the recent Supreme Court decisions that happened today, and when you're trans, it was a bad day today. If you're looking for actual campaign finance reform, it was a bad day. So it was really bad day. Jesus, it was just. I mean, by the way, folks, if you were born in the United States, you still are a citizen, regardless of who your parents are. That happened today too. So that was the only bad news for Trump, anyway. His executive order was nullified. So, and it can make good people say and do horrible things. Yes, that's kind of what our point is. Like, you say this is a good God, and Fangs is demonstrating to you that it's not. So, trying to separate out the seriousness just get you a gloop monster of lame. Oh, I don't know if it does. Yeah, I mean, he'll at least share the stash back with you that he stole from you. So that's a positive for Fangs. Fangs is better. Yeah, Fangs is better in every way. Like he may do different kinds of shit, but he has far more fun as a god. Yes, I absolutely did enjoy that. I thought that was well done. It was beautifully done, and so many theists reacted to it. It was just hilarious, and like it was just so funny. And then I saw a bunch of atheists react to it, and I was like, well, I could do that, except no, I don't want to do something that long. I would have had to do it in like 3 parts or something to hit everything, and I'm like, yeah, humor is in the best case rooted in a shift of perspective, and that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a couple terrible ones. One terrible one. The campaign finance reform one was kind of that one slipped under the radar because of the trans thing and the birthright citizenship one, but they basically said that there's no financial caps anymore to any organization that raises funds for candidates. So now buying elections will be much more possible. So yeah, at least Trump's kids are citizens too. Despite the fact that some of their mothers are not citizens, at least at first. So, but yes, so there you go. But yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag in the Supreme Court today. They got a couple more that are coming up that I'm sure are going to get discussed. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good times. It's always good times here in the United States. If nothing else, we have great political theater. If you like your politics to be emotional and theatric, here you are. So, oh yeah, it depends on who you are. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not every day is a bad day for me, but I have my low ones. Like today, I'm like, it was a good day 10 years ago. I didn't realize it then. Like I can look back now and go, yeah, there's some hard times those first 3 years, but after that, it worked out fine. Like it's gotten better every year. Got out of, I don't want to bag on my ex-wife because I don't do that, but I got out of a marriage that was not helpful to me. I've moved away from a career of being a pastor. I've started being more creative, like the way I want to be. This channel is solid. People ask me how the channel's going. It's like, well, I picked up a lot of subscribers the last 3 months. Not a ton, but more than I thought I would. And we're growing. I actually broke 5,800 yesterday. So we're now 200 away from 6K. So, and that's kind of where I'm going in the future is trying to grow the channel. I'd like to hit 10K by the end of the year, and that's a very ambitious goal for a channel like this, but that's what we're going to try to do. So more care, okay. But yeah, like it's if you like Fred, what would the world do if the United States stopped its political theater? What the hell would we do? What would you guys talk about? I mean, right now, Fred, you can honestly say, I may be an Australian, but at least I'm not a citizen of the USA right now. Like you can legit look at, I mean, I know there's politics in every country, but it's like you can legit look at it and go, really? Yeah. Yeah, we're only 200 away. So that's why starting next week, I'm still rebranding the channel a little bit. So, because I'm heading the daily show and a video or two every week. I got that one on No Hide recorded. I just have to edit it. So it's time to head in a more positive direction. So there goes. So, but yeah, yeah, popcorn. Get the popcorn out. Yes. Oh my goodness. And the cranky elder gods have decided to make 10 more people citizens by divine fiat. So there we go. Hey, look at you, Jackie. You're a member again. Look at you. It's David Duxwy. Okay. She Wonders. The other Ed. Hell's Bells, Derivative. All right. I recognize a few of those names from the past. So there you go. And look at that, Jackie. You've got your emojis back and everything. Yes, you're a citizen. You're a citizen with a citizen badge. Look at you. It's purple too. Oh, is that? Yeah, it's purple, which is like less than a month, but it'll probably turns the next color blue at 3 months. So there you go. Yeah, another citizen dodge. Need to work on that, cranky. The Germans seem to be able to dodge the citizenship. You need to think about that. So there you go. How are they doing that, cranky? All right. Oh, thanks, Coyote. Look at you. Appreciate you. Oh my goodness. Seem to be far away. It looks like Trump's here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Yeah. There you go. See, the elder gods are getting their praise as they rightfully deserve. All your troubles seem far away now. It looks like Trump's in. Yeah. Okay. We'll see you later, Cranky. Appreciate you though. Um, positive by growth standards. I think we have a good atmosphere here, and I think we have a good message. Um, I've kind of turned Earl loose to go work on projects that she can make money with her art. And so anything she does for the channel now is a donation to the channel because I can't afford her. She's become too good of an artist for me to pay her what she's worth. So, and so far I could double her pay and she'd still be making nothing. I don't want that for her. Um, so every once in a while she may send us art, but I've told her that she needs to work on stuff that'll make her money, and because she's got her own issues. So that's kind of where I'm at it. But so we're still going to use all the stuff, but I think I need to grow the channel because I do want to, because Earl's done so much for this channel, like so much. The bunny badges you guys enjoy, everything. It's like, it's not fair anymore. Like, it's not fair. I was happy to have her when she was developing her craft, but she's just gotten too good. And so we got to grow the channel and grow the support base and all that stuff. So I can turn to Earl and go, Earl, how much do you want for this? And that's definitely where I'm heading. But it's about growth and having more influence and helping more people. Like there's more people out there deconverting, and like it or not, YouTube looks at the size of your channel and decides how to promote you. So it's kind of that. So, well, you're a Russian. I mean that with all seriousness. I don't know what YouTube's done, but I think if they know you're from Russia, they're not handing out shit. So yeah, we can go in imaginary direction too. Carry on regardless. There you go. There you go, Kyle. There you go. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not saying it's anything scary. We have a good atmosphere, and what I want to do is, I'm just trying to be better, and I'm getting to a better state of mind, Evan, where I can do more things, and like that's why I took the night off tonight because I'm. It's not so much a holiday as I got to work on some things to do better with the channel and stuff. So, and I need an extra day off to do it. So, but no, I'm fairly certain that Earl will probably drop any Fangs art she just does on a whim, and I'll gladly display it. But I've kind of, we had a discussion a couple Sundays ago, and I kind of told her that I'm starting to feel, I feel very, very guilty not paying her to do what she does now. And it's like, you need to go find somebody that can. So, and so she's still around. She's still here in spirit. She'll always be here in spirit. And she comes around every once in a while, but you notice that she hasn't come around as often. And that's because I've told her she needs to take care of herself. And she's become way too good of an artist to be free. Like she should not be a free artist anymore. And I've been happy to watch that growth. I have nothing but praises for Earl and how she's developed it as an artist. I mean, this is an old piece and it still looks great, but then she's moved on to stuff like this where she's doing so much better. And I had this guilty thing that I have to deal with. So, but yeah, like it's not a bad thing. It's not that we're in a bad place, but I want to get to a point where I can turn to Earl and say, hey, how much are you charging for this? How much are you charging for that? Because she deserves it. Like she really does. So, and so that's kind of what's happening. That's why the rebranding, that's why the AI slop for my thumbnails. It's like I'm trying to get into a positive place myself where I can say, hey, we're growing and we're doing better. And I can look at the finances of the channel and go, yeah, we can do this now. We can do that now. That's what you guys pay for, a lot of it. Like it's subscriptions, like for StreamYard, that's a subscription, several others that I do to make videos and stuff. And I just needed to use those more. So it's one of the things I've realized as an atheist. It actually goes to being an atheist is like reciprocity is an important idea. So there you go. But yes, but yeah, like it's not a bad thing. It's just a realization that things need to change to kind of increase the positivity. I guess that'd be a better way to turn. Like I like what we do here. It's very enjoyable. Like the live streams are good. I love having theists come in because of that. Like next week, I'm probably going to start opening up the stream to talk to everybody, one at a time. If somebody wants to talk, just making changes like that so more people watch. Because I think my message of, hey, quit treating atheists like shit, quit treating people that are deconverting like shit, and being a support system for deconverting people, I think it's a good message. It's a solid one, and I don't think the need for that'll go away in my lifetime anyway. So see you later, Josh. Thank you, sir. But yeah, like maybe changed. Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I mean by that, Evan. There's nothing bad going on around here. It's just needs to be better. Needs to be better, and that part of that's me. Part of that's me. I need to be better at times. So I feel like, come on, but we would have to prepare. Yeah, like it's what I'm going to do starting next week is, I'll probably do my opening monologue, thoughts on things, deal with the chat for a while. I'm probably going to take my break a little bit earlier, like at 40 minutes, whether I need it or not. And then when I come back on, I'm just going to open up the stream to people who want to talk. And I'm only going to take them one at a time. It's going to be like a call-in thing, but I'm going to test this out on next Monday, to see how it works and then move on from there. Okay. I'm not getting down on myself. Okay. Like maybe I'm trying to get something across, I'm maybe not communicating it very well. I think I'm in a good spot. Okay. I want to be in a better spot. Like I really do feel like religion is a con, and I want to be in a better position where I can share that message with people. Like I've been watching a lot of Christopher Hitchens lately, and I've noticed that there is a message in atheism that doesn't seem to be as prominent since his absence, which is religion is a con and we'd be better off without it. Okay. And then B, like it poisons shit. Like the whole message of religion poisons everything is not as prevalent without Christopher Hitchens around. And I don't know, I think several of us need to take up that ball again. Like I was doing that thing on New Atheism last Friday, and it's like, there's elements of this we need back again, and we need to hit it higher and better. So it's not so much that things are bad or I think I'm bad. You're grumbling in Yiddish. Thank you, Evan. Evan, I appreciate you for saying those things, though, because I want to clarify myself a little bit better. But it's like Earl had some criticisms, and she was valid on some of them and not valid on others. But I'm just heading in. I'm trying to be a better content creator. I think we're doing good things here. I just think it could be better and reach more people and help more people. Helping more people is probably my biggest goal. Like there are so many people that need help with these issues and they just don't know where to turn. And if you have a bigger platform, then they're more likely to see you on YouTube, and then we can help them. There's a lot of deconversion channels out there, but I think I offer a very unique perspective. So there you go. Religion, business, fantastic reporting. Yes. Yeah, it is a poisoning well fallacy all of its own. Yeah, you do what you do. I mean, the beauty of streaming, Paul, is that you can always listen to this stuff later, and you can always support it whenever. Like the stream being line, yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's the idea is to grow for a purpose, and I think that's the thing that I'm looking at. So, trying to learn how to do all the YouTube things better, and branching out maybe away from YouTube a little bit too. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it helps, but just watching them in general and liking them and commenting on them and sharing them. Uh, I've had several content creators remark recently that there are certain types of streams and things that YouTube does not promote. And there is a theory out there that like fringe groups like atheism don't get promoted as much as others because they don't get as much ad revenue, et cetera, et cetera. So the share button is probably one of your most effective things. Like if watching a stream, hearing the early parts of it, and then sharing it, good stuff. And I got to get better reminding people of that. So, yeah, I mean, Paul, you're important, man. Like everybody has their value in some way, shape, or form. It's like we have to get used to it that it's not a cosmic, we're doing it for God thing. Like we may be doing it for Fangs, but Fangs is an atheist deity. So he only gets stronger if you don't believe in him. So, but everybody's important. Like I can't emphasize this. Like when I say thanks for all the likes, shares, and all that stuff, that is genuine because everything that you guys do to help this channel when you got the time, or even the simplest things of liking it, watching it, sharing it with your friends when you think it's appropriate, doing the things that you need to do. Every content creator out there will tell you that that's important, and they're right. Like nobody climbs this mountain of YouTube without help from a lot of people. Like it's one of those things that you always have to remember as a content creator, that you are here because people like you and are promoting you, because word of mouth still means a whole hell of a lot. So I think instead of trying to get atheists to argue over God, the atheists should show them how corrupt their religion is, whether their God exists or not, and they need to get out of that system. And I agree with you. And I think that's what Hitch was trying to do. Like he wasn't. If you watch some of his discussions with theists, he spends more time talking about their religion, and it's because when they try to corner him on God, like William Lane Craig tried to corner him on God, and Hitchens just like, I don't believe in your God. Like, and then, oh yeah, we notice when you're gone, Paul. Like, yeah, like when somebody's missing, it tells you how important they are. Like, so, but yeah, but like, I think that that's the direction of my channel here. I'm not so much because I am an anti-theist. I do think that religion is more of a poison than it ever was a good, and always has been, because it holds on to old ideas that don't work anymore. So, um, so for me, I think that is kind of like the arguments about God just bores the shit out of me now. Like the obvious problems with most of the arguments for God and that stuff, but showing people how their religion harms things, and not just in big ways either. Like how many of you theist Christian types have stopped having relationships with perfectly good people simply because they aren't part of your religion anymore? I mean, how many marriages between two people have been stopped because of religious things when those two people would have been great for each other? Like how much money has been dumped into religion, and what has it really given us back? Like there's a whole bunch of daily bullshit that this channel can address, I think, much more effectively. So it's that. So yeah, they didn't work when they were new ideas. And getting rid of those old ideas, I think but I think that's what helps like theists see what our real problem as atheists is. It's not your belief in God that bothers me so much. It's what your religion does that bothers me so much. It's like you're not good people. Okay. Like when this is the truth of it, takes perfectly good people and makes them do and say wicked things. Like it takes a religion to do that. And I think that's far more effective in pointing that out than anything else. So my weekly Torah Tuesday group lesson today and talking about progressives versus Orthodox and Jewish perspectives on moral memorials, which made me very happy. Higher purpose versus not was a big theme. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Evan's Jewish. Culturally Jewish still, aren't you, Evan? Like you still go to your groups. Like you still go to Torah Tuesday. Yeah. It's a smile or a joke. Yes. The pink pentagram. Yes. Benjamin has really had good reporting and proof of corruption on a massive scale. It's about the finances and sexual abuse. Yeah. He's an atheist Jew. See? There you go. There you go. And actually, there's a lot of those. More than you think. So, but yeah, like pointing out religious corruption, I think is much more important than the arguments about God. I think, Jackie, you have a very good overall point. Like, I think it's one thing I haven't seen a lot about, which is looking at religious corruption and how it negatively affects things and trying to also be very nice about it, like being diplomatic about it. Because the one thing that'll turn off a theist quicker is an argument. Like the moment you entrench them, they just become more entrenched in what they believe. And so you got to like talk to them in a way where you kind of lead them to see the problems instead of forcing them to see the problems. It's a difficult balance. Hey, Ron. She made me an overachiever. Achievement doesn't matter when everything is predestined. God will solve all my problems, so why try to solve them? Yeah, that's another problem. That's another subtle thing that religion does to the way you think, so that you do stupid bullshit. And that's a great example. Like you leave it all in the hands of God instead of actually doing something about it. Like you're making excuses as to why you don't have to do anything. I find that very interesting. You got different friends? Yeah, me too. Do you think the lack of social media hurts being a contract? I like any social media at all. I don't think it hurts us. The only social media source that I regularly consult is YouTube, and that's because it's part of my job. This is my secondary side hustle is YouTube, and so I keep track of what YouTube is doing. I don't have anything else. Like I have my Facebook page, but I hardly use it anymore. I hardly go to Facebook anymore. I don't know if it hurts me. It's something I have to explore. So, but I'm gonna take a quick 2-minute break, and then I will be back, and we'll talk a little bit more. And I took the night off so I can talk a little bit longer. So I'll probably open the floor to questions and whatever I do when I get back. But I'll see you in a couple, and you can watch this great piece of wonderful, wonderful animation by the lovely, wonderful I Killed Earl. All right, and we are back. Oh yeah, plenty of Jewish are very moral and good people, but they're also secular. Israel is like a very secular nation when you think about it. Like when you look at the population dynamics. Being a former world geography teacher, I was surprised by that. It was one of the things I learned as a teacher was how unbelieving in God the Jewish people in Israel are. It's not about God. And I don't think the truth claims of why people come to are important because the whole buying obviously ridiculous thing is one way. Otherwise, smart people tend up doing ixy things. Yeah, and I think what I'm getting at, I think you can open the door to a discussion on those silly beliefs that they believe by showing them the consequences of their belief. Like, if you can show somebody that their belief caused harm, and you show the harm that their religion is causing, and then you can kind of move the other direction of your beliefs are based on silly things, they cause harm, and here's why. I think that's a much easier discussion to have with a theist when you show them and they, well, yeah, that's not a good thing about my religion. Well, what's the basis of this not good thing? Well, it's this theological belief. It's this belief about God. And I think trying to find different ways to discuss this with people is kind of my quest right now. So it's like trying to find ways to, and I think that's why I want to open up my stream to start talking to people, particularly theists, in a respectful manner. Like, I'm sure I'll have the ones that try to show up and get in because they're being assholes and they're trolls and all that other stuff. And so monitoring that to make sure it's good content, I'll have to do. But showing people, yeah, see, this is the consequence of your religious beliefs. This is what happens. This is the stuff that harms people, and it's because of this. I mean, it's Pride Month, so let's take a simple LGBTQ issue. Like conservative Christians look down on all LGBTQ people, and it's like you're harming literal human beings. You're creating an atmosphere where these literal human beings are getting beat up, ostracized, kicked out of things, have economic, social, emotional, physical abuse situations because of who they are. And that stems from your belief that these things are ungodly. And the only reason you believe that is your faith tells you so. And it says it's not a rational belief, it's you believing in an irrational thing that leads to this harm. And I don't know, I've had more productive conversations when I've started that way than I have others so far. So act on what we believe, yes. But I think the issue is finding a doorway of, I can demonstrably show you this is harm. Okay, do you think this is a good thing that these people got harmed and beat up? Well, no. Well, why do you think these people were motivated to do this? Like, there have literally been many LGBTQ in my lifetime that have been killed. Like, when I was a kid, like when I was a teenager, we used to hear those stories all the time of like some gay person or lesbian having the shit beat out of them, or in some cases killed. Okay. Those stories were there. Okay. And front and center a lot of times. For me, it was more personal because I literally, in biology class for 2 straight years in basic biology and then advanced biology in high school, I sat next to our star female athlete, and she was bisexual, and now she's actually married to the other woman. She's a lesbian and got married and has all the rights. But her senior year, right before a big game against our rival, some of those rivals beat the shit out of her, and they weren't saying we're trying to take you out because you're a good athlete. They were calling her every slur about her being a lesbian to her face. Like, that happened. This is demonstrable harm caused by a religious belief. And if you look at it from this is what harm you cause, why do you cause this harm? I think that's a better way. I don't know. I'll have to explore this, but I think it's a better way to talk to them about it. Like, do you think that's right that that happened? Well, no. Well, but how did your belief not lead to this? Like, so, so it's like, you know, it's one of those things that I'm working on because I'm trying to find out ways to talk to theists. Like, you know, my heart is not to like push this button and everybody who's a theist becomes an atheist. That is not my heart at all. I want them to make the choice about moving away from the bad things in their religion and their bad viewpoints to something that's a little bit more positive for the rest of us. Like, so, but yeah, they're a gentler voice than them. They choose the most violent, Masonic, murderous psychopath as their supreme being. And it's a lot to say about the people to follow Yahweh. Depends on what community you're looking for. One thing that came up today, they're trying to say the politics of some people like, how dare you ask me to do anything but study? Yes. Specifically certain Orthodox communities such as Herodian Jews communities. Okay. Yeah, like I get what you're saying, but my issue with this channel is getting theists to kind of wake up to what they're doing. Like, the challenge to me is I think the vast majority of believers have been sold snake oil and they don't want to acknowledge it as snake oil. They just don't. They don't want to do it. And finding ways to get them to consider the fact that they might have been sold snake oil and they've been sold a bill of goods that doesn't work, and getting people to be convinced of that. Like, I could be one of those, you know, get in theist face and yell about them and call them all kinds of names, but I don't think that's very effective because I know that's not effective on me. Like, when theists do it to me. So it's like, I don't think how that tactic works. It's more about having conversations and convincing people, and it's kind of where I want to go with this. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to be like my enemy. If you understand what I'm saying, I don't want to use those tactics. I want to find a tactic where I talk to people and I say, hey, this is a consequence in our society of your belief system. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I think it's a bad thing. Okay, well, what idea does that come from? Like, what idea does that come from? And okay, then you get them to consider it. And it's kind of it's kind of a backdoor approach. Like, it's coming in through the side door instead of a frontal assault. But at least I can sit down and have a cup of coffee with them while I'm talking to them. You know, like, it's not antagonistic. I've always tried to be that way. The compassionate part of the anti-theism comes out. Androids dream of electric Satan. Oh gosh, I was Blade Runner. What an interesting film when you look at it. When I first watched it, when it first came out, and I'm talking the Harrison Ford one. I don't know anything about the new one because the Harrison Ford one has one of the best ending scenes of all time, I think, when the guy sits there and tells them about all the things he's seen that will die with him. And it's just one of those real reflective scenes, but it's very different to watch that movie now. I just watched it recently and I'm like, God damn, that's different. That movie doesn't hit the same as it used to. So, yeah. All right. See, once again, Evan, I'm open for any ideas. Like, it's not. I am trying to find a way to get across to more people that maybe, just maybe, religion is more harmful than good. Just getting them to accept that idea, that maybe the scales are balanced a little bit unfavorably towards the evil parts of religion. Just maybe more. Are you talking to Rimmer? Okay. All right. Sorry. But yeah, like, I don't know. I've had you up a while, so I was figuring somebody's got to be reacting to me and my nonsense. Yes, yeah, it's got a pretty good soundtrack too. But yeah, like, that movie just hit me so much differently when I watched it recently than it did when I was a kid. Because I'm like watching that last scene, I'm like, God damn, this is one of the best ending scenes of a science fiction story. You know, the best climatic scene of any science fiction story than I remember it being. Like, so I think when it comes to secular votes to include Israeli, one thing that drives me bananas when conflating all Jews with all. Yes, that's another problem. There are a lot of secular Jewish people. Like there are a lot of them. I've always remarked about that. It's often buying into the idea, but we need a safe place for Jewish votes without thinking how it could be done differently. Yes. Yes. Resoundance. Okay. There you go. Yeah. That's a complicated question, Evan. It is. I've taken the stance with the Middle East for a long time that it's like, nobody's really giving me good reasons for anything. I think I'm going to peace out for a while. You can't type to me? You can't. It's okay, Evan. It's all right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh, some of my Palestinian friends are real Israeli Arabs, by which I mean Arabs of Israeli religions. Yes. See, this is what makes this so fucking complicated. Like everybody tries. I know human beings like to make things real simple, but that whole mucky muck in the Middle East is just so complicated. Much more complicated than we want to give it credit for. Oh man. Yeah. One thing that has been clear to me, it doesn't help to lead with facts because it's way wired and don't mean jack. Start helping people to understand how they got there. Yeah, one pulse you're on there. I think that's the way I'm thinking too. It's like, okay, here's the consequences of what you believe. How did you get those beliefs in the first place? What made you believe that they were true in the first place? Like, I think I've had this discussion several times with several people. Trying to get across the truth to people with raw facts and reason never very well works. People are motivated by their emotions. They're motivated by what emotionally stimulates them. And so it's like trying to find a way to do that while being accurate factually and using reason behind that is probably the most tricky thing in being an honest person that's also trying to motivate people in the right direction. So how did you get these beliefs in the first place is a very good question. Like, on what basis do you say this is true? And that whole idea of truth hits more emotionally with believers than it probably does with a lot of others. But it's like finding ways to get people to consider their beliefs often involves the emotional attachment they have to their beliefs. I know it was for me. Like, I delve into more of my story today than I already have, but I stayed in the faith for emotional reasons. My intellectual faith was pretty much shattered by the time I got out of seminary. It was just this emotional desire for an afterlife, the emotional desire of how much I put into this thing since I was a kid, the sunk cost fallacy, the whole bit. It's really a challenge to get people to get past that. I know it's a challenge for me, and trying to talk to people in how they got their beliefs in the first place and why that's wrong. And then you get a hold of their emotions with it. Like you cannot persuade people without appealing to emotion. I don't think it's possible. I think it's very unhuman for us. There are very few people that are motivated by rationality and truth. Like there's I can't remember the guy's name. He had the Wizard's First Rules. Wizard's First Rule, and all the Wizard's rules. What the hell is his name? There's one of them that I find very true, that passion rules reason. And we follow after what we passionately desire. And then our reasons kind of comes along. But I'm trying to remember him. But yeah, I thought he did that one was pretty good, because when you look at human beings, It definitely is that way. So then hopefully they will find out they have no real reasons to believe what they do. The whole thing is to get them to think critical. Yeah, it's the weird thing about getting people to think critically. I think what we're both getting at here is you have to get them emotionally engaged in wanting to do that. You want to get them to want to think critically, because otherwise they're just going to stay with their emotional attachment to their faith, and they're not going to think clearly, and they're not going to do it. You got to figure out a way to appeal to them in such a way that they, you know what, I really should think critically about that. I want to make sure that I'm right there. And I think that's a better way of coming through the door of helping people kind of open up their eyes a little bit. But I can tell you one thing that doesn't work. Getting in their face and yelling at them about how awful they are to believe in Yahweh. Like, I can make fun of Yahweh with Fangs and stuff, and I do the parody because it's fun. But I also realize how that can be upsetting to some people that are very deeply attached to their faith. And so trying to get some people to go, hey, all I'm asking you to do is consider it, because when you look at the consequences of this religion, when you look at the consequences of faith, it doesn't seem to be really all that great for anybody. And so, like, a lot of the videos I have planned are how certain beliefs hurt you as a person. I think the first one I'm going to do that is how basically Christian patriarchal thinking hurts men. Like, yeah, it's and just showing how different belief systems lead to harm. And then why don't you reconsider your belief system? Like, why do you do that? And I think that's a much better door to go through. It really icks me out that they always the parody atheist. Listen, I love Fangs. I am so glad that Fangs was born out of the imagination of myself and I killed Earl, because we have created a child that does so much work, saves me a whole bunch of stuff. Like, the whole, how I end the program, which I'm probably going to do here in a little bit. I could say a little longer, but I really need to get something to eat. And I have a long night of getting some things done. So a lot of things in my life are a little bit better as it gets warmer and hotter. And I'm trying to deal with my hypersensitivity to heat for one, and then I got some stuff I need to get done for the channel for another. But yeah, like, parody is helpful because it makes light of things and gets people to think at the same time. And I think that's one avenue I still will continue to do. But I do think that One Pulse Studios here has some very valid points. It's like trying to get people to emotionally understand that it's important to use rational thought on your belief system, and how that belief harms them is the doorway you enter, but then you get them to think about why they believe what they believe and how it's wrong. Like, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. So, but yes, I will continue to be the parody atheist. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah, it's always good to see you, Paul. I mean, I know where, like, it's like, what, shit, it's got to be getting close to 4 a.m. now since we started for you in Russia. But yeah, like, it's always going to be good to see anybody. So, like, yeah, it's there. Uninterrupted branch of Judaism. Yeah, I did not know that. So, yeah, I didn't know. Is that correct? See, because Ethiopia also, if we're talking about the same country, it has one of the longest running traditions of Christianity too. So, interesting statistical fact about Ethiopia. It's amazing how that used to be a very powerful country once upon a time. So, not so much anymore. But yeah, I don't know. See, besides, if we didn't have fangs, we wouldn't have this picture. So there you go. We wouldn't have this picture. Oh man. Just trying to make sure I get all the comments that I think add to the discussion. I think so. I need to brush up on my history, but there's definitely a long history there, and it's really amazing in a bad way of how a lot of Israelite Jews would discriminate against Ethiopian Jews. And you know the other thing that happens there too, because I know my Christian history enough, Evan, that Ethiopian, like Coptic Christianity is also one of those versions of Christianity that's looked down upon as well, like by certain Christian groups. I think the Catholic Church has had some real problems with them in the past. So, like, for some reason, Ethiopia seems to be this hotbed of controversy. So it'd be interesting to find out what happens. So many stories in the Old Testament allude to the fact that we're all one human race, and even the Levant is bigoted and red. Yeah, like it's. I was dealing with that the other day because. Well, actually, I'll probably save this for Friday because I now don't remember where I got it from. Because we're going to react to a video by the 700 Club on Friday, and they're talking about the biblical origins of like the United States, because the 4th of July is coming, and we're all going to be banging our gong here in the United States about how we're 250 years old, and I'm like, compared to some countries, that's not that old. but yes, they aren't. Hold on, where is Coptic then? I know we talked about the Coptic Gospels geography. I might be getting those two confused in my head. Okay, now we're going to be slow. Those guys shut down their URL. Yeah, it's Egypt. So it's north of there. I swear. But I wonder if the Coptic Christians from Egypt, they might have ran away, because I think there was a Coptic gospel I was looking at that said it has Egyptian and Ethiopian origins. So I'll have to double check that. But yeah, I'm probably wrong on that. Those Old Testament texts are not my strength. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, there's a religious overlap there, because I know Coptics tend to be Egyptian, Coptic Christians, but I think the Ethiopian area also has them Coptic Christians at one point in history too. So, yeah, the South Sudan has a Christian church too. Upper Egypt, well, that depends on who you're talking to. Well, the idea of upper, is near the end of the Nile River for some. For other people, upper refers to the fact that you go up in geography as you go further into Egypt. I had the unfortunate experience of having a couple of old books confuse the two, and so it kind of gets frazzled in my brain too. Because there was one book I was reading, I can't remember what it was, that talked about Upper Egypt, and it was talking about the end of the River Nile and that area, the upper kingdom, so to speak, and then the lower kingdom was the one closer to the source of the Nile. And then I had another book that was talking about geographical elevation in relationship to Upper and Lower Egypt. So, yeah, we were taught the heathen control was Coptic when I grew up, but we were taught many other wrong things. Okay, so maybe that's where I got it from, remember? Like, I don't know. I'll have to look into it. Just so everybody knows, I am starting my research work. I decided that I'm just going to review Inspiring Philosophies every other week, his videos on the Gospels, and kind of do a live commentary on it instead. But I do want to do a video series on the other Gospels of Jesus Christ, because there's one particular claim of Mike Jones that I want to deal with, which is that he's heavily in the belief that the Gospels, the four Gospels, are biographies, but I don't think he can escape the fact that there are other Gospels. And I know that there's definitely some Coptic Gospels. There's a few others as well. So, yeah, like I always thought that too. But then you can look at it from a geographical point of view because some people, when they describe the geography of Egypt, they talk about the upper Egypt in terms of elevation. Like, and so when you go to the source of the Nile, you go up, so it's like, that's Upper Egypt. Yeah. Like this is the problem. But then there's the people that talk about the upper and lower kingdom, and they refer to the upper kingdom as by the Nile because that's how it looks on a map. And so, and as you could probably suspect, these are Christian sources that don't seem to get their shit together one way or the other. So, but yeah, like that's why you have to clarify what you mean when you talk about Upper Egypt or Lower Egypt, because geographically it's about elevation, but politically it can be flipped in some textbooks because some people get it wrong. So, I heard some distinguish Sinai Peninsula as special territory. Yeah, there's some that do. Some churches are called Tewahedo churches. Okay. But yeah, like I agree with you, Michael. Like I think that's the proper way to do it. Upper Egypt is south, where the Nile comes from, and then where it goes is lower. But there are some people that they see the upper kingdom and lower kingdom, they flip them. So yeah. So there you go. Golden Age of Egypt. It's around Luxor, which makes a lot of the Old Testament implausible. Yeah, like most of us, Vixen, that's what we hear. Like if you study secular things and talk about Upper and Lower Egypt, both of you are absolutely right. The moment you start opening up Christian textbooks about the Bible, you'll get differences of opinion and different stories. Because I don't think the Christians they're so focused on the political religious aspects that they forget the geography. Like the geography, when you're like studying the Gospels, this is one of the part of the contradictions, because it says Jesus went up to or down to or moved around this way or went down to the Sea of Galilee. Well, he's not coming from the north to the south. He's going down in elevation. And some of that actually creates some contradictions, because apparently some of these gospel writers didn't know how the geography of ancient Israel worked. So there's that. See you later, Evan. Great contributions as always. Thank you. So, hey, Wolf, how you doing, man? I'm going late because I decided to take the night off, and so I'm going to go for a couple hours. So, yeah, honestly, Vixen, this is kind of like when Christianity writes textbooks, it tends to assume Christianity. Like when I took Christian history in Bible college, like they taught us like early Christianity to medieval Christianity was one semester, and then modern from the Protestant Reformation on was the other semester. They do a lot of that. So they do a lot of Christian assumptions behind what they teach when they teach history, when they teach geography, and they always mess it up with everybody else. Like they always get it wrong. So a lot of the things I learned in Bible college about history were just straight up wrong because it was told from a certain perspective and propagandized in a certain way. So, um, so well, there you go. There you go. Hey, I know you're a third shifter like me, so I get it. We both do the same thing. I'm not doing it today. I decided to take a Walmart flu day off. I'll just put it that way. I have the Walmart flu. Plus, I got some stuff to do later that I need to get done before I move any farther in the week. Everyone was from how would you ever had anything to do with Farah and Luxor? Yeah, well, that is the issue, Rimmer. Like, this is part of the problem of the history of the Bible and why, there's been so much scholarship on the first 5 books of the Bible and on Joshua that now we're pretty much convinced that none of that shit happened. Okay, that's guys in 600 BCE writing about stuff that's 6, 7, 800 years removed from them with really poor records, and all they're going on is their traditions and how their people group looked at it. And so that's a good question. I mean, I would say nowhere because I don't think Moses existed. But so I remember the split, two kings of Egypt with the double. Yeah, there was a double crown that caused the split in the kingdoms. So also at the moment forest south to north, how did Moses have an affair of the Israelites from the north? Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes in the Old Testament. We'll just put it that way. So, like, how in the world would it take the Israelites take 40 years to cross a piece of road that should have taken a 2-week trek? Yeah, well, they got forced by God to stay there. The real question, Vixen, is how do you spend 40 years in such a small place and not leave a single trace of your existence? That's a better question. Like, and it's not like they didn't camp at certain places in the Sinai. Like, there's one place that they keep coming back to all the time. Okay, so if you're going to be camping at a place on the reg while you're wandering around to the wilderness, so to speak, right? How do you not leave a trace of your existence? I mean, some sort of outhouses, sewage, broken pottery, something. How do you not leave any trace of your existence? Dead skeletons. And this has been a problem for the biblical account for a long time. But yeah, the wandering in the wilderness, that doesn't take very long. So yeah, the GPS got scrambled. But yes, this is how we know a lot of the Old Testament is a myth, is problems like this. Like when you start to analyze it, you begin to realize there's a shit ton of problems. So and there are more holes in the Bible than some clips I've seen. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's the same system of latrines that they used on the ark. Like that's one of the largest problems is Israel, the Sinai, Egypt are some of the most archaeologically explored areas in the world, period, full stop, because of the biblical interest. And you know what we don't find for most of it? No proof of anything in the Bible. So, like the story of Exodus didn't happen. Moses, probably not a real figure. Maybe a legendary figure by the Jews that achieved some sort of mythological status. Genetics doesn't show that we bottleneck at 2 people just 7,000 years ago. So, there's just so much now that speaks against what the text of the Old Testament says, especially the first 6 books. Like, it doesn't work. So, yeah, it's just magic shit. Literally. Sorry, there should be a whole ton of dead bodies. Yeah, like there's millions of people. There should be skeletons all over the Sinai in a certain strata of people that died. Like, for real. Like, these people weren't just leaving them lie there, they were burying them. And so helping with preservation to a certain extent, especially in a dry climate like a desert. There should be skeletons all over in a certain time frame if Israel wandered that desert for 40 years with the entire intention of killing off that older generation so the younger generation could take over. And yet there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no evidence of an exodus across the Red Sea. You have evidence of migration between Palestine, the Palestine area, and Egypt, different groups going back and forth, but nothing in those kind of numbers. No, nothing. So Herod the Bible isn't real. Herod the Great's definitely a real guy. He's attested to in Roman stuff too. But the way he's portrayed in Matthew, probably not. So, yeah, well, they are. Like, if we follow the biblical timeline and we give it dates of when it happened, the Israelites would have gone into Palestine when it was ruled by Egypt. Like, they would be escaping from Egypt to Egypt. It's one of the biggest flaws in the story is archaeology, because we have all this stuff now that says Egypt was in charge of Palestine from like 1450 to 1250 BCE, and that's kind of the time frame where the Exodus is supposed to take place. So we have sorry, William Lane Craig, we have a problem. But yeah, like if you want somebody that really knows their stuff on this, Kip Davis is a good one. Like, he talks about some of this stuff all the time. We just had fun this weekend talking about the Ark. So it's always hilarious. But Holy Kool-Aid's a good one too. When he does like the biblical stuff and that kind of stuff, he does a pretty good job because he defers to sources that actually know something. So I don't know, Michael. He might have. Maybe he did exist. I don't know. This is one of the things that made me an atheist, though, because I did, when I went to seminary, we talked Old Testament studies, and we talked about all this lack. And this is back in the 90s, like the mid 90s. And we were talking about the lack of information that proved the Exodus even back then. And it's just gotten worse. Yeah, to lower the bar by a lot, yes. Like, it's gotten to the point of ridiculousness how little evidence there is for the Bible's first 6 books. Like, this is a group of people in 600 to 500 BCE, the scholars, then the Jewish scholars, reconstructing a mythological narrative for themselves and their people. And once you understand that, you suddenly realize that good chunk of it's bullshit. Now, when you get to the judges, there are a few judges that have some other historical attestations, although it's very, very minor. So it's quite possible that with judges, you have a bunch of these legendary leaders of the Israelite people that are getting preserved a little bit. Whether there was some guy named Gideon that killed a bunch of people with 300 dudes with lamps is another story. So, yeah, movement of ya people, yes. I mean, the Baron existed. He did in a certain sense. But yeah, like this has been the problem. Like, it's like, Joshua, Judges, you get a little bit. When you get into the Kings and Chronicles, there's nuggets of historical truth, but once again, they're propagandizing their people. They're like trying to convince people in their current day to go back home, that this belongs to them. And so they're trying to convince it's a very political move. It's kind of cool, but in a certain way, but it's not so much. Kills them all off, and the Christians don't see much. Oh, liar Yahweh is shocking. Not so much. No, it's not so much. All right, folks, I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, it's been a long day, but I got some stuff to get done tonight, and got a few other things to work on. But thanks everybody for being here. I want to give a special shout out to Josh, who's not here yet right now, for his donations. I want to thank the Elder Gods for their gifted memberships. Some of you are enjoying those. Welcome to that. I want to thank Coyote as well. You guys are great. Appreciate all of you. It's been good to kind of talk about how I became an atheist, and I've been going 10 years now, and I don't think it's a phase, and I'm heading in some directions for the channel and things to try to grow my influence and all that stuff. So I appreciate all you guys' help with that, and we will continue to do that and continue to grow and do the things that we do. But in the meantime, may Fangs nibble on all of your hearts. May he purify all of your vegetables this gardening season with his pointy teeth. And may he also, bless you with all the blessings that an atheist demigod, god of thieves, good, safe, consensual sex, magicians, bunnies that steal vegetables from gardens can give you. If you need a warm fuzzy in a religion, the picture's already up. Just look into the eyes of Fangs and you will get all the warm fuzzies you will ever need from a religion that you would ever want. Make sure you also circumcise that carrot before you put it on top of your stash. It's a religious ritual that may help you preserve your stash, may not. Like all religious rituals, results may vary. And also look into the legal statuses in your state because, Fangs has legal recourse to kind of steal your stash now, too. He's always looking for an angle, always looking for an angle. Strange deity that we serve. Avoid the vibes and lies of the apologists and beware of those presuppopossums. They are out there. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. And as always, folks, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So you want to make sure that you take all your time, your money, your opportunities, all of those things, give them to the people, to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, thanks for stopping by. I'll catch all of you next time tomorrow where we're going to start heading into July and towards the July 4th. So we got to talk about Christian nationalism on Weird Wednesday. We'll see you all then tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. I'll see you then. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end to find out how you can support the channel better. Of course, there's always the normal notions of just hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell, and share the video with your friends and family that you think would be interested. That's always very appreciated. If you want to support the channel in a more tangible way, there's several options. You can super chat or super thanks in the comments or during a stream. Those are always very welcome. But you also can become a member of the channel. Members have certain perks like getting the videos early, things like that. They also have some good custom emojis during chat. So all of these things are good benefits to members, but they also support this channel and its work to continue to normalize atheism and deconversion, for which I'm very appreciative. It keeps me going, and it keeps me as a content creator being able to do more and more as a content creator. So if you choose those methods of support, thank you very much. And I appreciate you once again for staying to the end and listening to other ways that you can support the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll catch you next time.